Hey, how's it going? Today is 7th of January, Sunday, and we're taking a look at what opportunities are available within the market. I have taken a look at potentially ways of sourcing finance for project lead and what that process can look like in the first video. And the second video, I was taking a look at distress. I guess that's another way. Financial difficulties, perhaps, or opportunities. There might be another way of looking at it. We were taking a look at roughly 300 or 250 million missing, and yourself, if you're something that you're yourself interested in, there's an area that's missing that amount of money, and you can help council to look for it. If it's something yourself you're interested in. My personal experience would be then the team not necessarily would be able interested in collaborating and working together to look for it. It's a different story. Well, the what I'm saying, perhaps you yourself you might have different experience, right? Perhaps on manufacturers. Let's progress. Thought I will touch on it. I haven't taken part. It might be a very similar area, but I'm not entirely sure what's happening there. So I have taken a look at growth deal funding for black country. So there's some opportunities there. We can perhaps begin with the history and everything what's happened myself. Find this description very odd. We can progress from description and progress to financial opportunities there. Uh, that would be so my business would be within Bristol area. I'm just taking a look at the map, right? So perhaps just above Bristol to the east of perhaps Wales, I guess, above Gloucestershire. I guess that's how I see this area. But either way, the Black Country is an area of England's Midlands in the main urban, covering most of the Dudley, Sandwell, and Walsall metropolitan boroughs. Right. I'm not that well. I've been perhaps a few times. I haven't been that many times within that area. Myself, I'm looking to understand opportunities within that area, right? It's just strange name of the area. That's that. Perhaps that's industrial part, right? So if we were to produce anything, perhaps I have touched on Birmingham. That would be more of the logisticals, right? Where we can potentially manufacture something. Perhaps we'd be considering, and perhaps there might be some opportunities there for others, right? That's odd name. I mean, I like the color, but it's an odd name. That's what I'm saying. Uh, so there's a deal, right? But I don't know if it's live, right? So myself, I'm looking to understand a little bit better. I wasn't able to find a date, but usually there would be dates, and there might be, if it's round one, there might be next round, next one, and next one. Usually that's how it works, right? And they might have a total budget of, that's how I understand it, right? They might be working with a total budget of 217 million, right? But then perhaps that's for one round, second round, third round, and they might be working 5 round with 50 million budgets, right? One gonna go perhaps even too much into detail, I guess. I'm saying opportunities is there, right? So if it's something, there might be a team. You perhaps the best process would be reaching out to the team and discussing ways how what you might be interested in operating and starting the business, right? And once you submit all the documents, again, it's a very similar process. What I believe the process is, where it would be judged against a certain criteria, right? If the your project to be, if it's gonna be successful, right? But sometimes they have their own strategy or direction, right? So if your project would align with the overall strategy and direction, right? And I think they might be interested in high value manufacturing and or production within those areas, right? Myself, I'm interested in understanding if they have a port, so how we're gonna ship and sell everything to perhaps other countries. That's what I'm interested in. I don't think this area has it. I can touch on that and I'll can come back to it if that's what they're interested in. High value manufacturing, what they're looking to increase your cost, operating cost, by not having a port. So I will touch on that. From there we can come back, but that might be all domestically. So if it's something that you yourself interested in manufacturing domestically, I would, if I would consider this opportunity, I would, this area would need to have a port. Quickly, I will touch on that, and I think this program was set up by other governments first. That I think that's what happened. From there, perhaps it might be a new thing within the UK, but either way, so there's something that's called free ports, right? There might be some incentives in operating within particular areas, right? I don't know how well some of those areas are overall performing. I don't think, personally, I don't think, taking a look at some of those areas, I don't think it's very good to set up companies who are operating within those areas. Perhaps activity level within those areas could be better, let's just say this way. So if activity level could be better, there might be some incentives where government would try to encourage more businesses in entering some of those areas, right, and setting up companies and begin operating within those areas. But if you were to do a little bit of research and trying to understand how hard it can be, even to taking a look at perhaps sourcing people within some of those areas, it can be a very, very hard thing to do. But what I'm saying is, opportunities out there. The government is still looking to encourage setting up more businesses and begin operating within those areas, right? Since we're on the topic, we can take a look at East Midlands, Freeport, right? Let's touch on this area. Where this area is, perhaps it would be within. Again, we're still trying to narrow it down, I guess. Yeah, I cannot see water in that area. I cannot see it. Maybe it's somewhere. But what I'm saying, opportunities are up there, right? So if yourself you're interested in that area, I can briefly touch on that. I don't see it. I don't see it. I don't see it because depending on what you would like to do, perhaps by weight, and if we're taking a look at manufacturing by weight, it might be very expensive operating, but I don't want to discourage anyone. If anything, that's my own understanding, right? I prefer by water if you would ask me, right? But perhaps it's just because of the weight. So we can take a look at East Midlands, Freeport, and perhaps there's a lot of incentives there, right, and opportunities, right, and they might be interested in collaborating and working together and solving different problems, and they can potentially solve this. Something that's been outlined, right, but not necessarily limited to advanced manufacturing, automotive, and logistics. Multimodal transport connections covering air, rail, and road. Oh, okay, okay. So they're saying themselves, right? It's not there's no water there. So don't get yourself in trouble and don't blame me about it, right? Once in a generation investment in infrastructure, and from there leading higher and further education institutions. Perhaps there's opportunities there, right? So that's been highlighted, right? I don't know these people, I don't know this team, I haven't done anything. I'll perhaps I'm gonna do. There's a lot of noise in the background, right? What I'm gonna do, I'll try to stack my opportunities right and see what the team is all about, and if I can, perhaps to see how I can solve some of those problems there. Perhaps there might be some opportunities there, but I don't know. I don't know. There's a map there where they're going a little bit more into detail about what would be the process and what perhaps opportunities are available there. Perhaps there's something that they are outlining, right? There might be enterprises, perhaps logistics, but again, there's no water. So that's just me, right? Most likely I would need to order to succeed. Most likely I'm gonna need to find water. If anything, perhaps there's opportunities there still. Most likely I will reach out to the team and see if there's more what the team is all about, and I'll try to understand if anything, perhaps logistical hubs and everything, perhaps storage facility, maybe something. There might be something there, but again, yourself, if you're interested in learning more, I have published a book where I'm taking a look at livestock enterprise and where you yourself you can potentially begin and start generating potentially or running as a business, I guess. But you myself begin by starting take a look at your finances, right? That would be your expenses and where you potentially spending a lot of money, or where the money is coming in and where the money is going out. So if a lot of your expenses perhaps would be food, every month, and how you can reduce some of those expenses. Perhaps begin by generating for yourself and reduce some of those expenses, and any surplus perhaps generating back into community or sell it back into community. But running as a business, right, and you can potentially begin from the financial goal size from zero to a first 10,000. You can find it QR code in the corner company's website below. Energy might be there. Energy. So if energy is there, perhaps there might be some opportunities. The website and everything, it might look like energy is there, but I don't know. I don't know. I have my doubts. If anything, I like to cover all of those opportunities, right? Perhaps my limitations shouldn't be your limitations based by weight. Again, I don't know. Usually there should be some water there. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.